Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to bring you a to be read pile, but not books, tarot decks. The tarot decks that I want to read in spring. So this is a spring TTBR, a spring tarot to be read, because of course we read our tarot decks, we read cards. So rather than doing a book to be read, I thought I would do a spring tarot to be read. I'm going to turn it into a hashtag because I'm curious if anybody else wants to just sit and flick through their decks and show me what they're working with in spring. I'd love that as well. If you like the idea of tarot to be read as a tag, then join in, that'd be fantastic. So what have I got for you today? I've got some new pairings and I've got some new decks, which is really exciting after a year of going deep with the decks I'd already got and not buying things. It has been really enjoyable to buy some new decks, and I'm going to share one that I was really itching to get my hands on, the Woodland Wardens, which is a mass market 52 card oracle deck by Jessica Rowe. Now of course this deck everybody's probably seen by now. I loved the look of it and it's had such good reviews from people who've worked with it. I was really keen to get it, but it kept going out of print, unavailable, currently unavailable everywhere in the UK. Every time I went to try and get it, it was unavailable again. So I was really excited last month when finally it was in somewhere and I ordered it. I've started working with it already this month. I've been doing week ahead spreads with it as the oracle card pull. Well, one of the oracle card pulls. I've been putting it with another oracle deck, which I'll show you in a minute. But oh my goodness, it is lovely. I love it. I love the animals combined with the plants. I love the keywords. I love the descriptions in the guidebook. It is just so lovely. I can see why people have such good things to say about it. So my first impressions from beginning to work with this deck, absolutely fabulous. Now I did say I've been putting it with another oracle, which I have. The other oracle that I've been putting it with is one that has been on my wish list for forever, for years. And it's funny, after a no buy year, I went back to my wish list and thought, oh, I can buy something now. And to be honest, 90% of the stuff that was on my wish list I took off. I didn't want it anymore, so isn't that quite telling? However, this deck was still really high up there on my I really want this deck. So this is by Scott Alexander King. It's illustrated by Sharon McLeod and it's the Oracle of the Innocent Heart. It just fits in perfectly with my word of the year, which is story, because this really is the story of a little girl and her brother and the memories that they have of childhood. So it follows the story of Saffron and Audley and just their memories of childhood, and it's glorious. The guidebook simply gives you the story that's depicted on the card, and then it gives you about 4 or 5 things to ponder. So they talk about Mom's veggie garden, or memories of the apple tree, memories of their grandfather's cuckoo clock. It's really different. It doesn't give you like an action or this is the meaning of the card. It literally just tells you the story, and it just taps into that lovely innocent heart feeling of childhood. And then from that story, key thoughts are taken out for you to ponder, or you can take your own thoughts out and, you know, think about what it means to you, and then you come up with your own meaning. Really, you're not being spoon-fed meanings. It really is like, what does this story make you think about? You could possibly think about these things. And I just loved these two together. These are the backs, and it's got this lovely red gilding as well, so deep red gilding. and I love it. I'm really loving it. So currently I've been pulling one each from each of these decks, and then the tarot deck I've been putting it with is another new tarot deck. All of these are mass market, and it's this one, the Lord of the Rings tarot deck and guidebook. It is by Titan Books. I take everything back I ever said about cash grab decks that have got pips in the minors that jump on like a fan base thing. I take it back because I love this deck so much, and I have surprised myself because I don't particularly like pip decks, or I didn't. I didn't think I could ever see myself working with pip decks, but this, oh my gosh, I love it. The card stock is completely glorious, and it's got this amazing lined art style, and if anybody knows my artwork at all, you will know that I love lines. And because of the amount of lines in the illustrated cards, it's really nice to intersperse with these pips. It's like gives it a visual break. I think it would be too much with all of this, and the artwork kind of feels earthy and chunky. Does that make sense? It does to me. Let me show you these three decks all together. I have really delighted in these three together. So I'm pulling a week ahead spread with this, and then I'm using a card from each of the oracles as well. It's been so much fun. It's been lovely. There is something about all three of them, I think, that work together. I love the cups in this deck. I mean, look how chunky the cups are. How gorgeous is that? So these are going to stay out throughout spring. I've only just started working with them, so at the end of March, this week was the first time I've started playing with them and using them for different spreads, and I've loved it. It's a really nice combination, and I'm surprised at the Lord of the Rings deck how much I am enjoying that easier space when the pip cards come out, and how clear that is when the imagery is gone in certain places of the reading. I suppose that's one of the nice things about pips. You're less distracted by other things, and because I've got oracle in there as well, and because a lot of these cards are illustrated, like the aces, the courts and the majors are all illustrated, then it's just nice to sometimes get a break with those pips. This is delighting my soul. So is this. In fact, all of these three decks are. We're 9 minutes in and I've only done this one pairing. Oh my goodness me. So these are the new decks that I've got in. I do have a few more new decks. I have had a little bit of a splurge of second-hand decks, charity shop decks, and some mass market decks that I love, and I need to share those with you if you're interested. Also, if you're interested in any further walkthroughs of any of these decks, then let me know and I can do that. Next up is another gorgeous oracle. This is Renee's oracle from Meadowlark Mystic. This is her sheet of insight oracle, which is available on Make Playing Cards. Is it Make Playing Cards? Yeah, it's on Make Playing Cards. I'll leave the links to it below. This is a deck that Renee made a few years ago now. Was it last year? Oh my gosh, time flies. And I love it. It is channeled collage art of all of these sort of goddess energy beings that have got really gorgeous messages, and I just really wanted to work with this month. So this is out to work with at some point in spring. I say this month, I'm meaning April when I say this month, although I'm filming in March still, but this is definitely going to stay out for springtime. And I thought I would go at pairing this with a deck that I haven't worked with yet, that I got gifted for my birthday from the lovely Amber. This came in that birthday box that I shared, and this is the Hanson Roberts. Now also, the Hanson Roberts is one of Renee's favourite decks, so when I look at the Hanson Roberts I think about Renee anyway, and she's a really good friend of mine. So I just thought how lovely to put her oracle with the Hanson Roberts and just see what sort of readings we get, and I just think it looks completely gorgeous. It's going to be lovely. Yeah, this is a pairing. Hanson Roberts is exciting me anyway, but I think paired up with Renee's sheer insight, look at that, how pretty does that look? Wow, yeah, I love it. Just wonderful, wonderful imagery. So that's another pairing that I've got out. Also, my last video I think that I put up was this one, the Blue Angels new deck, the Inner Child Oracle. I'm not sure that this is even released everywhere yet. It might be on pre-order still in some places. Now this is kind of like an affirmation deck. I think this is more like a reparenting deck, to be honest. It follows the adventures of Benny Blue in just some wonderful, wonderful depictions. Now in my last video I tried to explore different pairings for this Inner Child Oracle with Benny Blue, and this Hanson Roberts one was one of my favourite pairings with it. I just thought it looked lovely together. It has that sort of nostalgic images and artwork of old feel, children's storybook, sort of images from children's stories, and I just thought that they would be wonderful to work with together. Now if you go back and look at that video and look in the comments section, oh my gosh, you guys really came through giving so many gorgeous suggestions for other decks as well that might pair alongside our gorgeous little Benny bunnies. And one of you suggested the Inner Child cards, a Fairy Tale Tarot, because of course this is the Inner Child Oracle. How about putting it with Inner Child cards? Why had I not even thought of that, you may ask? Who knows? Look at this. I think that these two might actually make a lovely combination. Oh, I mean, that's just so sweet, isn't it? And this deck isn't afraid to pack a punch. It really isn't, and I just think it'd be really interesting comparing it with kind of sort of an affirmation style oracle with that sort of nostalgic feel of childhood, with another fairy tale storytelling deck, which again ties in brilliantly with my word of the year story, and just to see what type of messages might come out of this. I mean, this deck, my normal pairing for the Fairy Tale Tarot is the Thoth, believe it or not. It is just the most incredible pairing with the Thoth, so it might be interesting to try it with something different. So I'm going to give those two a go. Other decks that are out as well, which I also showed in that video, I'm keeping the Chrysalis Tarot out. I'm keeping the Ravenous Dracon out. I'm also keeping the Kawaii Tarot out as well. Right, so alongside the Inner Child Oracle, I also wondered about Tarot for All Ages. Now, this is a deck that I bought and then wondered whether I liked it, put it away and was going to rehome it. But then I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I've got it out and I've done a couple of readings with it, and you know what, it's coming back out into circulation. I think that I kind of judged a bit overly harsh on this one, and I do think that it's going to be a lovely reader with this inner child oracle. Look at this. Yeah, I love it. I really love it. And it's just lovely sort of springtime colours. Of course, you've got the bunny as well, haven't you, for spring and Easter time with the bunny. And just the light. I love spring light more than any light the whole time of the year, where you get that kind of crisp spring light with lovely dappled shadows you get in spring. Well, you do here in England anyway. And I just think the light in these decks kind of sums that up too. And I love these together. Look at that. So I'm keeping those out to work with. And then the last tarot that I hadn't tried on that last video, that I suddenly thought, oh, I bet that would work with the Inner Child Oracle, is one I'd forgotten I'd got, because it was one gifted in that birthday box. This beautiful Creatures Tarot by, of course, it's got the artwork of Jasmine Beckett Griffith. This is the first edition with the borders, which I love because I am a borders girl. So it's the first edition with these backs, this beautiful plum colour. It's got no gilding on this edition, and you've got the big borders. Like I say, I am a borders girl. I love that. But I just thought these as well might go together really nicely. And look at this. I think that really does. You've got the big eyes in the bunny, you've got the big eyes in the girls. Oh, I love it. Now, I've not worked with this beautiful Creatures Tarot yet. I do love the artwork of Jasmine Beckett Griffith though. I know that Juliet Peekaboo Rose has got a deck on Make playing cards, which I am desperate to get. That's still on my wish list. But in the meantime, I have this deck to play with, and I think it looks fantastic. So these two are staying out, and I'm really excited to work with these two in spring as well. So sticking with the idea of big-eyed girls and the work of Jasmine Beckett Griffith, I have got this deck out to work with. Now, I know Les Vampires, you might think, well, surely that's a Samhain deck, but this one called to me because I have been trying to find an oracle to pair with the most glorious gift that I got sent in March by the gorgeous Meg over at Rose Honey Ritual. And this deck just really spoke to me for a deck that I wanted to try to pair with this tarot that Meg gifted me. Now, Meg, it just blew me away, this gift, and Meg told me that she hasn't been buying gifts for herself. She wanted to buy gifts for her friends recently. She really wanted to send me a certain deck because she knew that it would speak to my soul, and it does. And through the post came Tarot as Colour. Oh my gosh, guys, I cannot tell you the amount of times that I have looked at this deck and wanted it and then not ordered it, and then looked again and not ordered it, and looked again and not ordered it, and then through the post it came. Meg, you know, because we speak behind the scenes, you know how blown away I am by this, and you know how amazing I find this sort of concept, and like colour, magic being held within colour. It is just stunning. And I just wondered whether some of the vibe of these cards might just sit really nicely with it for working through spring. So it's a definite combination that I really want to trial. I've already started working with this deck. Of course I have. The second it arrived, I started with it. And I am also doing a deck and walk this year, which started yesterday. Day one saw me in tears. There's a lot to say about deck and walks, and yeah, yesterday was quite impactful. If anybody wants me to do any deck and walk videos, then let me know. Also, if you're interested, then Marlena is doing some fantastic deck and walk work over on her channel. I'll link her videos for that. But if you wanted me to put my interpretation of what I'm doing for deck and walking, then let me know and I can do some videos on that as well. But for spring, these two decks just were calling to me. So I'm going to be trying tarot as colour with Les Vampires, but also I've got some other oracle decks as well that I wanted to try with this deck. The first is this Herbal Recognition Cards deck, mass market. Now I want to start working more with flower and plant magic this year, and of course the garden gates are being opened now with the heralding of spring, and I just wondered whether the shapes in these flowers on these decks might not just really work nicely with tarot as colour. Let's do this. Can you see? And like have a plant message or flower message alongside the colour. For me, that feels like the same sort of ballpark energy that you're with. In fact, oh my gosh, look at that. That could almost be a painting of the inside of a foxglove. That's incredible. And the Chariot as comfrey. I mean, look, you can see this key shapes, there's colours working there. Oh yeah, I love these together. Yeah, you can see why I've been pulled to doing this. Oh, I love it. So that's a definite pull that jumped out at me the minute that I opened tarot of colour. It was just screaming to me to be put with things that grow, things in the garden, and like those key elemental shapes of nature and the colour of flowers. So that is the Herbal Recognition Cards, which is a really cheap little mass market deck, which is absolutely fantastic. It's full of info about plants, so if you're interested in working with plants, I mean, this is brilliant. It gives you habitat description, recognition tips, the time of year that they bloom, safety notes, collection tips. There's just a lot to go on in there, so loads and loads of information. And a note to self about these Herbal Recognition Cards. You can see that they don't actually hold any divination meaning on the cards. It really is what it says on the box. It's a recognition deck. It's sort of a study deck for some of the key points about the plant. I would more be using this as part of my study of plants. Say if I pulled a card like the sycamore or the nettle or the silver birch here, that I would then research it myself and see what kind of key meaning or divination meaning comes from that research to then add into the tarot as colour card. And then another deck that I got called to pull out of the cupboard to put with this deck is Mag's Tree Whisper Oracle. Again, I think it was like that sort of natural shade. It's just nature, I think, just fits so nicely with this work. I mean, look at those two together. And just to see how these keywords would work with these titles. Yeah, look at this. So definitely, as the woods begin to take on some greenery and move away from this, and we're out in nature more during spring, I just think nature's calling, isn't it? So these just seemed really nice oracle pairings with this amazing deck. I just love it. I love the synchronicities of shapes and, you know, where it might take your eye if you put nature with the tarot as a colour. So that is another set of pairings that I really wanted to work with this amazing new deck. There are a lot of new decks to me here, which again is very exciting for spring. Currently on my doll altar, I've got the tarot as colour out. I've used it in this first deckhand pulled deck and cards from, which has been spectacular. It's up on my doll altar. I'll put some pictures in here. I've been working with it with the Frida as well, the tarot avatar, and that's been wonderful as well. So I'll show you these pictures here now. So on this doll altar, all of the cards are positioned in set places that signify the meaning that are coming from them. So the positioning on the altar is part of the reading as well, and it's just so fun to do. Another new deck which I bought last week, now I saw this on Martin's channel. I'll leave the link to his walkthrough of this deck down below. And I just thought, wow, what's that? I looked online, it's mass market, it was in the sale, it was super cheap. But more than super cheap, it blew my mind. We're still in the realm of colour here, decks that I love because of the colour. Now, this is the Rebel Heart Tarot by Alice Grist. I think this was under £20, guys. And oh my gosh, I haven't worked with it yet. You can see it is still got the little paper clip on, which I did slide back on because I thought I would be doing a walkthrough. If you want a walkthrough, I can give you a proper walkthrough of this deck. The backs look like this. And look at this. Oh my gosh, everything in my soul just loves this deck. Again, I'm sorry guys, it's some of these cards are animals on human bodies. I think I've got a thing for this, you know, and so it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And yes, I do have the Curious Creatures, which I love, but there are certain cards in this that make it feel different to the Curious Creatures. I mean, look at this Wheel of Fortune. What? The art style, the collage, it's just fantastic. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's not all animals. You can see that there's people in there. Look, the tower as laundry and jobs on top of a washing machine. Perfect. So this was a deck that I've been super excited to get my hands on. If I show you some of the minors as well, look, it is this card, the Seven of Pentacles. This literally looks like somebody has taken a photograph of me in my greenhouse, although I don't walk around with a big tomato head most of the time. But you can see that the art style goes all the way through the minors as well. It's just brilliant. So I am super excited to work with this one. Can you tell? And look, the inside of the box is bright pink as well, which is just wonderful. It was one of those decks where I saw it and that was it. I immediately bought it, and I wondered whether that deck might just work with this one. Now this is the Creativity Oracle, which is sort of applique quilted work, and then you've got quotes about creativity and the divination meaning on the back, although you can use it really easily for intuitive hits because there's just so much going on. And I just thought these two together might be fantastic. It just might work so brilliantly. Look at that, we've got two light bulbs there. That's incredible. So what do you think I think that is a winner. I love those two together. So that is the Rebel Heart Tarot, which is new, with the Creativity Oracle. I cannot wait to put those two together. Oh my god, look at these. Look at the Nine of Swords. Oh my god, I love it so much. And how about the Creativity Oracle with the Mythical Goddess Tarot, which came in my birthday box. Like I said, there are lots and lots of new decks here. It's got these glorious backs, and its colour is definitely what I'm being drawn to at the minute. You can see that, can't you? So I am really pulled to putting these together as well, and working with this tarot alongside this oracle. Oh wow, this is wonderful. I love it. Yep, so this is the Mythical Goddess Tarot, which is by Sage Holloway and Catherine Skagg, with the Creativity Oracle. And I apologise for the very loud traffic going past. I hope that it isn't as loud for you guys as it is for me. So yeah, I love those two. Also, I wonder what the Rebel Heart Tarot would look like with the Sheer Insight Oracle here. You can see the setup is similar regarding the layout. They're both collage style decks. And I just wonder whether this isn't kind of like sort of divine goddess energy with a more everyday, mundane, like earthly, earthbound energy. It feels like it links heaven and earth, these two. Can you see what I mean? And I think I love them together. Oh my gosh, I think I love them. Yeah, this is an interesting combination. I really think that this is just fantastic. So yeah, I'm very excited to put these two together. So the Sheer Insight Oracle here is going to get another outing in spring with the Rebel Heart Tarot. Love it. And then lastly, my last combination is the Chrysalis Tarot, which I have been waiting to work with for a while. I've worked with it a little bit, and I put it with the Tarot of Transformation last time I worked with it. But it definitely is a deck that I need to work more with. It hasn't had me work with it loads, and I love it. And again, it's perfect for a year where my word of the year is story. And I wondered, now I've got this deck, this Innocent Heart, the Oracle of the Innocent Heart, this one which you saw earlier, whether these wouldn't be a lovely pairing too. They have that kind of children's story book vibe going on. I think they're both quite unusual decks, and I just thought it might make a nice combination for getting to know both the decks better. Like I say, I've got a lot of new decks here, or a lot of decks that aren't new but haven't been worked with much, and I just feel incredibly lucky to have this sort of selection. Most of are mass market, so they are readily available. A lot were bought in sales as well. It is just really lovely to have the choice. Oh my gosh, look at this. And then the flames, just lovely coincidences. Yeah, so I'm going to give those two a go in spring. One of those decks just feel very spring-like to me, very wonderful. It makes a lovely spring TTBR, tarot to be read. So that's my tarot to be read pile. I'd love to know what yours is. If you want to join in, just use the hashtag, let me know, or tell me in the comments below what decks you're looking forward to working with in spring. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.